Mark, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Good, thank you.
How you doing, John?
Good, how are you?
Good. Have you been having any sleep or you been plowing steady?
I was a lot of hours,
Last week, huh?
yeah.
This
40
weekend?
46 hours, right?
Wow. Well,
Not
anyway.
much sleep.
Not much sleep. We have public comment. Seeing no one here to give us public comment right now, we have two people who will be on the agenda in a couple minutes here. With approval of the meeting minutes, we have meeting minutes from February 3rd, 2025. Do we have a motion on those meeting minutes as has been presented to you in your packet?
John was absent, so we'll have to.
Yeah, that was,
We have a motion to accept?
so this was February 3rd, John was absent, okay. I move to approve the meeting minutes of February 3rd, 2025.
I will second that motion. Any comments on that? Changes? Seeing none, those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Abstentions?
Abstention.
Okay, we have a vote, thank you so much. Moving on to our next, usually we have like a raft of meeting minutes, so this is different. Okay, moving on to reports, and that would start out with Tammy on Town Administrator Report.
You will on the next one. Last 2 meetings.
So I'm going to pass this out. Betty Jo and I think this is pretty much complete. I just need for you all to look it over and then come back next. I'll just pass them down, thank you. And I have one for Sandy, too.
Okay.
It's the senior center usage policy. If you go through it, I just needed everyone to look it over, so we'll have, hopefully the next meeting that we have, you can look it over, and I'm hoping to have it approved. The last page on there, it's not stapled, it's actually for AA. You had said you were going to do the waiver of 25, so I just would need you, the select board, to sign off on that. And then we can go forward with that, and that would be a great thing, because it's been a long time coming.
Yes, can I just make one comment on that? So, in the facility usage policy, it does say that anybody that's renting the facility after hours has to have additional insurance. So you are further waiving the requirement of them having the insurance.
Which is the last page.
Yes.
Okay.
When you have the waived rate, $25 to $1,200, so is it waived so that they pay?
So it's $25, that's what they've always done, that's the
so
way,
it's
so they're
al-
not,
they've
we're
always-
waiving their majority
They've always
of
paid
this.
$25 a week?
Yes.
Okay,
Yep.
Yeah.
just checking.
Yep,
So
we're
we
just gonna
waived
keep
it, so
it.
it's $1,200 a year for them. Okay.
Mhm.
And we have the keypads in there, how are they working? The keypads are,
Pads are, we have some tweaks to do, but for the most part, it's ready to go.
nice, that's excellent.
Okay. Are you seeking a vote on this evening?
No, I want you guys to look it over, read it, come back to our next meeting, and then we can approve it. And I'll have another one where you can actually sign the waiver form for
Yeah,
us.
has much of this changed since like the last meeting I was at?
No.
Probably
The
not. I
only
didn't think
thing
since I
that
looked ever-
happened was I just made the additional that you're waiving the insurance requirement as
Yeah,
well.
which we spoke about, okay.
Yep.
I would just like to say then for the public, that this is a document that will be available at the Henry Woods Building for review if the public were to be interested in the very specific language that is included herein. And at our next meeting, we will be taking action on this policy. Thank you very much, Meg, for your work on that.
It's a long time. We did it, though.
Okay.
So the next thing I just wanted to mention is, you'll see this on Facebook. It's a little flyer, and it says, "You're invited, Community Forum, FY25 Community Development Block Grant." The town of Barre is working with Central Mass Regional Planning Commission to identify future community development goals and projects, as well as to pursue FY25 CDBG funds for eligible activities. Residents are encouraged to attend to discuss proposed FY25 CDBG projects and priorities for future community development grant seeking. This is going to be held at the Senior Center Wednesday, February 26th at 6 p.m. We encourage everyone to come because it's very important that we get the word out there so we can helps us with our grant money that we've been working on, and we are hopefully going to be we used to have another town we were hosted with, but now we're going to be just our own town. So this is really a good thing for us.
That's the target anyways.
That is.
You know. So we'll be putting in an application to get our own separate CBDG funds, and at least a variety of different projects. That's kind of what this meeting is to go over. Ideally, some shovel-ready projects based on the last study that was done to actually get some projects in the ground,
With that infrastructure.
along with other initiatives that will be covered at this meeting, so that we have a robust, list of projects identified to support our application for the funds.
Will you be doing any further sort of public acknowledgement of this information?
So yes, so I did put it on Facebook. It should be
Okay.
on our website.
Okay.
Betty Jo will put it at the senior center, and we'll make sure around here. And hopefully it's going to get out there, and we'll have a nice turnout like we did before.
Yeah, we did.
The last one we did. And then we're having another one, I believe, in March. I'm not sure the date, but that comes out more.
Yep.
Will be discussed.
Okay.
And the only other thing I just want to say is today, me and Jake went down to the DPW and we worked on time cards, and that ended up going well. And Sandy's been helping and assisting with the invoices for DPW. So I just want to say thank you for all that. That's
Well,
a nice help.
I would also thank you and also Jake for taking the time to
Yes,
help out
Jake too,
down
yeah.
at the DPW. We did have a resignation for the individual who usually puts out the bills for sewer and water, and obviously we haven't replaced that person yet. We will be posting the job tomorrow.
Yes.
And Tammy and the treasurer.
Yes, Jake came down with me,
have
so
been
big thank you to him
We
too.
will be sending out the bills. The water meters have been read. There's very few left that we haven't been able to get into the house and work with the people to get things read. Those that have not been read will be just estimated low, and obviously the bill will be a catch-up once we either fix or replace the meter that doesn't seem to be functioning. So we do have,
And for most people, the meters are read
Yes.
automatically from outside your house. So,
yeah,
if no one's come to your house, it's probably because yours is working fine.
good point.
But there have been a handful where they haven't been able to be read for some amount of time. And
And we do have a new person who will be joining the water team, the water department team. So we have a company and now an individual who has all of the, shall we say, necessary, I guess what do you call it, licenses? They have all different stages of licenses to operate the water system, and I believe he will be starting on the 24th of February. A new mechanic started last week. So we are at a point now where we're, filling some of those very important spots that have been empty for a period of time. So we're very happy to hear about that. I will just tell people that we ran out of salt. We have no salt. It's not that we didn't know we needed salt, but when we attempted to order salt, Hybrid, Barre, and a whole host of other people, independent contractors, there was no salt that he had. It appears that the state has the salt that they need, and we're happy about that because we all drive on state roads, but it makes this very last storm, which has been a very difficult one, and I will just, send it over to you to talk how awful it was.
Yeah.
Very difficult to get, freeze, snow, rain, whatever it was, so.
Myself, I use, on my own personal route was 4 to 5 times more salt than I normally use. Just because-
He's for the state.
Yeah, I plow for the state, and I'm a hired vendor for the state, and I just plow sand, whatever else, liquid magnesium chloride, and it just, we used a lot of product in this, so, just because of the nature of it, the snow, then the sleet, and then the temperatures dropping, and the snow right on top of it, it was just made for a real tough situation,
Yeah.
even on the state roads.
Yes, yeah.
I mean, we have, I myself use about 68,000 pounds of salt in 4 miles. And when we get, we don't, the town of Barre has to extend 68,000 pounds of salt a lot further than 4 miles.
Yeah, for sure. So at any rate, thanking the DPW department for its extraordinary work. It was a lot of extra hours, and it was short-manned, and so we have some independent contractors that work with us, but it was a very tough weekend, I understand, so, anyway.
You're doing a great job.
Yeah, thanks for that, and we did have another water issue last week, a week ago or so, and so that was something that they had to take care of too, so, at any rate, we continue to
I know
work.
they'll be getting out to do some of the patching that needs to be done
Yeah.
between storms.
Yeah. Okay, so,
To the extent
anything
possible.
else, Tammy?
No, that's
Okay,
it.
so we'll look for that. Select board reports. John, have anything to give us an update on?
No, primarily CBDG. We've kind of talked on that already. I'll be meeting with some CMRPC people later this week to make sure that keeps moving ahead towards our submission deadline for the grant.
Okay, sounds great. Obviously, we continue to fill holes by hiring people where we have gaps, where we do not have people at this current time. We'll be making a recommendation about a building commissioner tonight, so that's another position that we fill that we're very happy about. We also have some appointments that we'll be making for the Council on Aging, which is another good thing to have some more people on that, and we will be doing that shortly in the agenda. Correspondence? We have no special correspondence, okay. Going to new business, we are at Council on Aging appointments. Betty Jo, would you like to make any comments about it before we make those appointments? I know we have applicants that we will be, at your recommendation, approving tonight.
Not unless the board had any questions about any of them.
Okay.
I don't really know all the names of the people that
Where-
were, here,
Made application?
yes.
Okay, well, we have a number of applications or applicants who've stepped forward to participate in the Council on Aging. I would say I know them, but that doesn't necessarily mean anything other than I believe that they are quality people in the community that will, work hard to provide the support that the senior center requires, so those are good things. So the appointments would be Mr. David Flick, who lives on 874 Walnut Hill Road in Barre. He's an individual who also works, he was related to, he was a BHS, Barre Historical Society board member, a senior manager at, one thing you work on is printing for me. At any rate, he has current occupation and special training in leadership skills, so he should be great at participating in some of the board meetings that are always, shall we say, a challenge. We also have Anthony Menegoni. Anthony Menegoni lives on Wheelwright Road. He is a member and manager of, a manager for 35 years, would like to help improve the senior center. Sounds good to me. And his training is managing and manufacturing agencies. So Mr. Menegoni is number 2. Elizabeth Newell from 907 Old Dana Road in Barre. She has life caring for elderly and has done a lot of work in medical technology. So she's a person who could be really, really instrumental and helpful. So that is Elizabeth Newell. We also have Gary Brigham, who is an individual who recently sent in his paperwork, I believe. And
No, I will be getting it.
Okay.
He just couldn't make it today.
okay, couldn't make it
But
today.
he's
So
on the open space.
looks like he's already serving on our open space committee, so we will be looking forward to his work with the Council on Aging as well. Any comments, Billy Joe, or anything before we,
No, wonderful.
okay?
How many, will this leave any open spots? Like, should we continue advertising the open spots?
Yes,
Okay, there's still gonna be,
yes,
okay.
yes.
We have a
Alright,
couple,
well,
we have a couple people who are in Florida until May, but who have indicated an interest. So those people could be a possibility as we move forward.
Okay. And we're always looking for more applicants as well.
Yep.
So could we
Keep that
please,
advertised out.
could we have a
Great.
vote please on the following, in list of individuals? David Flick, Anthony Menegoni, Elizabeth Newell, and Gary Brigham.
I would move to approve the appointments of David Flick, Anthony
Menegoni.
Menegoni, Elizabeth Newell, and Gary Brigham to the Council on Aging.
A second.
We have a motion made and seconded to approve the appointments of David Flick, Anthony Menegoni, Elizabeth Newell, and Gary Brigham. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, now, are those appointments staggered? In other words, are some people there for a year and some people for 2 years, and you will make that known to these individuals? Okay. I know you still got other stuff fit, so you're still fitting everything together. Okay. Do you know if Dan Jewell is going to join us tonight?
No, he might not. He wasn't sure. So
Okay.
it is on their
Okay.
FinCom meeting, I believe, right? We have the debt.
Why don't we go then to Mike?
Debt exclusion fund.
Yeah,
Yeah.
FinCom.
The debt exclusion law, it won't be a lot of conversation from us, only providing we have to meet the statute that indicates we have to vote,
Thank you.
okay, to authorize to put a debt exclusion vote on the ballot 35 days prior to the date of the actual election, which is April 8th. So obviously, this vote needs to happen
Okay.
tonight, or we have to have a special meeting to do it. This vote does nothing to say that either one or all of us are ready to go and vote this exclusion at the ballot. This will be a, shall we say, confidential vote. It is one that allows, this vote of placing the debt exclusion on the ballot allows the community to decide how to pay, in this case, for the fire truck that has been voted at town meeting and will be coming in, and we will owe, obviously, $735,000 to purchase the fire truck. Obviously, we have already entered into at least a lease purchase agreement that says we'll be paying this off in a period of 7 years. The hope that we have, obviously, is ensuring that we have enough debt, shall we say, levy capacity. We'd love to just include this within the levy capacity. It doesn't appear that we'll have the levy capacity to include a $100,000 cost per year, okay, out of the general operating levy, that we'll have to debt exclude this amount or make significant cuts in the general budget in order to support the purchase of the fire truck. This is what debt exclusions are for. They're primarily for fire trucks, school buildings, roofs, large capital projects. They're not for, you know, small kind of capital items that one would be able to manage within a budget pretty easily. So the vote would actually be, as directed by town council, the vote would say, shall the town of Barre be allowed to exempt from the provisions of Proposition 2 1/2, so-called, the amounts required to pay for the bond issued in order to purchase a fire truck? And obviously, this is a vote that would happen at the ballot box when people are electing town positions on April 8th. Our vote tonight does not, okay, mean that this is all said and done. It only puts this information in front of the voter to make a decision about how to fund the fire truck that was voted at a previous town meeting. That being said, understand that will be a non-binding vote on that ballot at the ballot on April 8th about the dam and how to move forward with that project. And this would be a second thing for the public to consider. This would be a debt exclusion vote that would be binding. If it fails, we would not be able to fund the fire truck this way. We would have to find the money under the general levy. Again, a non-binding vote from the dam would not hamstring the select board to do one thing or the other. It just gives us a good idea about what the community believes or thinks, because if we do certain things, it would be an ongoing cost to the town. And the town, we will be producing information to support both the debt exclusion and the vote, the non-binding vote. So people would be informed as to why we are asking them their opinion and why we are asking them to debt exclude the fire truck. Okay, questions? It will take 2/3 vote of what they call
From the
the.
audience, taking questions?
Oh, sure.
The debt exclusion would be for a set number of years?
Only-
And it would still be the lease-to-own lease?
Well, what we would do, obviously, is this does not bind the town into how to, whether it be 7 years or whether we would look at it and go for 10 years in order to pay for it would depend upon what the treasurer and the banks would say is our best deal. So the first payment, we believe we would be, okay, we'd be stuck with the first payment, which is about,
I want to
$130,000?
say about 125, 35.
We'd have to pay that one, for sure, that way, but then we can restructure the rest of the debt. And, trying to pay it off in 7 years when you're gonna keep it 30 isn't necessary. So you could extend the debt, but you'd wanna say, what's the interest rate for extending the debt?
So the vote on the ballot would It was my understanding at that special town meeting, the town voted to enter into this lease.
They did. A lease purchase agreement.
This possible debt exclusion would negate that term of a lease?
No, it would say that you're gonna pay off, okay, the fire truck based upon the lease purchase agreement. We have to honor that lease purchase agreement at least for the year. Town council and our treasurer are looking at, can we restructure the rest of the debt so it is smaller amounts, okay, than what the lease purchase agreement would require, which is to pay the full by 7 years.
The full, the 7 years is, am I right, 893,000?
Oh, I'm not sure about that. I
Yeah,
know
well,
the
that's
first
what I understood when
payment.
they wrote the note last
Mhm.
year.
Well, we'd have
So
to,
it
We'd have
was
to
like
check with Jake.
893,000. But then there was an added 38,000 something for,
So I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, Maureen, I believe that was during the lease if they had paid it within a certain amount of time, right?
Yeah.
And that's how that 38,000 came up.
so it's on top of that.
so, at any rate, we know that in my opinion, the worst case scenario is we pay it in the short term of 7 years. And that, okay, debt exclusion would only be good for the length of whatever we owe on that particular item. We can't say, oh, well, we're gonna, buy 2 fire trucks. We can't do that. We have 1 fire truck, and the specific information about exactly what it costs and so forth would be on an annual basis. And once that fire truck is paid, that the debt exclusion would be gone. For example, you have a debt excluded at this time from the town of Barre. You have $172,000 debt exclusion on a bunch of capital things, okay? That's paid next, this next year. So
And
that,
then there'll be no debt exclusion items?
no, there is a debt exclusion item on the roof and window project at Ruggles Lane. There was I believe the town took a 14-year note on that, okay? I'm gonna guess they're probably 10 years into that at this point. We can check and give you exact date on that. They also, the Common Project, remember that was a debt
Yes.
excluded thing? We are very close to that payoff, and we can chat. We will have all that information, exactly when it will be paid off. We can get that from, Mr. Cranston, who's been, operating with that, and also the treasurer would know that number. What we want to do is we want to see, we don't want to have, we like to pay them off, put one on, but not, keep just adding to them. I believe the Common is pretty much wrapped up, and we have sufficient funds left in there to replace the railings around North Common. You see probably some of them are badly rotted and so forth. And so we have enough money to make those repairs. I was talking, and Mr. Cranston and I are going to be working probably with a local lumber company to see if we can get what we need special cut.
Relative to that, some of those original ones that were taken down are in better shape than the ones that are hanging on there now.
I don't know where they are, do
They're
you?
at the highway department.
Oh, okay.
They were in the
Some of
grass
them
for
could
about
be
a
picked
year.
through and reused. I think they're in pretty good shape.
Oh, we definitely can look at that. I was not aware of that. I know that it would behoove us to look at a different, rather than soft pine. I believe that's what they are. They're current, and obviously you can see that they have not,
The other ones are, I believe, yellow pine,
hard pine.
from down
Yeah.
south.
Okay. So at any rate, we'll be having some conversations. We're obviously only going to replace the ones that are so damaged we can't, save them. And then they'll have to be painted and stuff and installed.
And who does that one?
Well, my fantasy is, I said to my husband, hey, wouldn't you like to, with a bunch of other guys, paint those things if we got them? And he went, oh, yeah, okay. I think we'll do that with, with help from the public.
Yeah, I'll try to help.
Yeah, we're measuring them off and so on, and they have different brackets than the old ones used to sit in. So they're, 'cause the old ones, according to people who know more than I do about this, they were tweaked at almost like a diamond look.
they were
Yeah.
nice and
Yeah,
shaped.
okay,
Well,
and
it's
now,
a diamond shape.
and now they're not. They're flat in. So
They just turn them up on the side, so it kind of looked like
The
a.
original ones were not squares, they were diamond
That's right,
shaped.
Yeah.
that's right.
yeah,
But
so,
they-
yeah,
to
so,
replicate that, they just put the square ones on
Yeah.
edge.
yeah.
I believe my grandfather had something to do with that whole
I
thing.
believe you probably did. Yeah. So at any rate, those are the bonds that we have out that had been debt excluded. The high
So-
school is paid off, I believe, the professional development center is paid off. Was that excluded? I think the chiller at the high school, which is gonna be paid off in about an hour and a half, we didn't debt exclude that. I think we're paying that under the levy.
I'm not sure.
Yeah, that's just a capital project that they did.
But the lease on the fire truck was with the manufacturer?
I would have to look at the document. I'm not sure if it was with the manufacturer or someone the manufacturer generally works with that subsidizes, let's face it, makes money that way. So a lot of towns do purchase that way, lease purchase, because it makes it a little more palatable to do. But that's
And the
it's,
first year was 130,000?
yeah.
Around the estimate.
And was the same each year, or?
Well, it's gonna be like, he said it's a total of 789,000. Well, just divided by, whatever number of years, 7 years.
7 years was 893,000.
Yeah. So I don't know what that interest rate was, we'd have to look up that.
That was before the $38,000 extra.
Yeah. So at any rate, we have further questions on the debt exclusion, which again is a thing that just allows the town to make the decision about how to fund or finance the fire truck. They've already voted to purchase the fire truck 2 different occasions at town meeting. I know that the Budget and Finance Committee tried at the second town meeting to encourage the town meeting to vote to debt exclude it, and there was no vote to debt exclude it at that time. So,
Yeah, so, again, this is just to put it on the ballot, and we'll need to get some more information out about
yes.
what's currently on debt excluded, what's coming off, and what,
Right, so
how
what
much
is-
this will
what
be
public,
exactly.
What opportunity would be
We will-
public have to,
We will put a voters advisory out. Okay, we're going to do that for the debt.
Are we?
For the for
No,
the
you
dam.
can't do
We-
that.
No, we can't do that.
Yeah, but what we're gonna do is information about that, right?
You can't hand
Le-
out.
Legals, yeah,
Oh.
I don't think we can actually write up a thing and put it out. I think what we can do, as far as the dam goes, what we can do is provide opportunity for both sides to speak on it at an
Okay.
upcoming meeting.
Oh, 'cause I was under the
As far as
impression that we were
the
gonna do
voter guide, I think
No
legal said
voter-
we can't do
no
something
vote-
like that.
no voter guide?
Because when they do them for the state, they're vetted through, it's a
Yeah.
whole lengthy
Okay.
process. And
Good, that's.
essentially what we would need to do is pass a specific bylaw in town before we would be allowed to create our own voter guides. And even then, they would have to be
Okay.
approved by the state on an individual basis, so it's actually,
Yeah. And campaign finance
Mess,
laws
but,
limits
yeah.
what the selectmen can do we can't go out and put, sort of pass out leaflets and put signs on our lawn and say, vote for this. We can't do that. We can put it in front of the public to say, and answer the questions that you've just asked. How much is it, and we can also provide information of, for example, say, if you have, let's make about $500,000 home taxed in Barre, this would impact your tax rate by X. And that would be something that would be calculated, by the treasurer.
but it would be helpful for a knowledgeable voter to know that currently there's X
Oh, sure.
dollars that
Right.
are
Oh.
on debt exclusion. Next year, it'll drop to this number.
Yep.
The year after, it'll drop
Yep.
to this. And then if this passes, it increases to that.
Okay, we can do that.
Yeah.
So see, but what we can't do is politic for this.
No, I.
Oh, okay, you know what I mean. So we can provide the information for certain, but what we can't do is Maureen Marshall on her front lawn say, debt exclude blank, 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 I can't do that.
no, but we want to have that, we want to have those numbers available.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
Yeah.
and I mean,
And they're very easy for us to get.
Yes.
I think even if we could, have some, set some sort of opportunity for discussion at one of the meetings before then, even if we're staying out of it, allow people to ask questions and have those
Yeah.
answers. But
I
don't think we can do
the
it
questions that you
technical.
posed are very clearly what other people want to know.
I would assume,
Yeah, and I think it's important if they say, how much of my tax bill, if my house is worth, and sometimes you can do it by multiples of 10. If you have a $10,000 house, it would cost you this, $20,000. So people can say, okay, mine's a $600,000 house, and they can guesstimate what are the debt exclusions costing, on their particular tax bill. Okay?
yes.
Okay, we seek a vote. We have a motion?
yeah, I'll make the motion that legal counsel is provided us. I can read it out specifically.
Shall the town of Barre be allowed to exempt from the provisions of Proposition 2 1/2, so-called, the amounts required to pay for the bond issued in order to purchase a fire truck?
So I would move to include on the annual town ballot the debt exclusion as read.
Second.
We have a motion made and seconded to approve the debt exclusion as read and as
To be included.
presented by town council.
Yeah, to be placed on the
To be
ballot.
placed on the ballot for the public on April 8th. Those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, that gives the information we need for the town clerk. I will just make sure, I know
Well, yeah.
that's from legal, but.
This is from our last one, but
Yeah,
I'll make sure
yeah.
town council
Okay.
goes through.
I'm gonna need that.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
I will.
Okay. Mr. Wood, we'll put you on stage again. Mass Watershed Report.
So I'm the delegate for your Board of Selectmen to the Ware River Watershed Advisory Committee. And I emailed everybody this letter and an explanation of what's going on. Okay. I have.
Why don't you review it for the public, though, just so.
Okay, so the DCR's 2023 Ware River Watershed Public Access Plan severely impacted the public's access into the watershed, particularly concerning vehicles from the end of mud season to October 1st.
Mhm.
Instead of repeating that phrase, I'll just call that the regular season.
Mhm.
They initially came to us in the draft proposal that it would just be Colebrook Road from the Barre Falls Dam to the 122. And then a short stretch of Intervale Road into the Rutland Prison Camp.
Mhm.
Many of us lobbied for additional roads to remain open. Lucy Allen was included. She made some arguments for historical areas and such. And we prevailed and we got some additional roads, but there's been two in particular. Reuben Walker Road, from Brigham Road, which is north of the prison camp area, over to Colebrook Road. Now I made, I don't know if everybody's familiar, but this is Rutland Prison Camp area, Colebrook Road, down through to 122. I mean, not Prison Camp area, Barre Falls Dam
Mhm.
area. And then this is the prison camp area,
Mhm.
Intervale Road from the
Yeah.
Rutland
Rutland.
public road system into there. So we've been asking since the draft proposal to reinstate Reuben Walker Road to connect this eastern part of the watershed with this central corridor
Mhm.
and this main prison camp road from the state park to the prison camp.
Mhm.
And we've been rebuffed. If anybody else wants to see these maps.
Yeah, I'll take
they
them.
can. Sorry, I'm up short. I'm
That's
sorry.
okay, I can get it from Tammy.
Yeah,
Um,
you know.
We've been rebuffed repeatedly.
Mhm.
So we've enlisted, I've requested that the DCR commissioner get involved. He came out, I took him on a tour. He's been to a few meetings. The tone of the meetings, I think, has improved when he's around.
Yeah.
His district directors, John Scannell and Dan Clark. I think this whole access plan is their baby, you know, the commissioner's got quite a lot of other issues.
Mhm.
So anyway, we started to get a feel of compromise coming around. So we also asked for an annual review of the access plan. And by way of compromise, they've offered a 2-year review of the 10-year plan. So it's a little give and take, it's all
Mhm.
good, you know.
Mhm.
So that's coming up soon. So we made a big push, a formal push to get these roads reinstated to the
Mhm.
public. These roads have always been open to
Mhm.
the public for a century.
Mhm.
What is the reason they want to close them all, Mike?
I believe it's a staffing thing. and
Okay.
So they're watershed rangers, which are, in my opinion, they're public relations people. They're not really they're not police officers. They have no arrest power, no ticket power, none of that. But there's supposed to be 5 of them, and there's always only been 3. And they were down to 2 when they finally got another one. So I think it's like a staffing thing, that, if they can limit the access, they don't have to carry as big a staff.
Yeah, okay.
That's my opinion, from what the tone is. They make the argument that DEP, it's not, it's like you can't drive through all the roads of the Quabbin, you can't drive through all the roads of the Wachusett watershed, but this is a little different thing. This is it's a watershed, it's not a reservoir,
No. Well, and they've been open.
and they've been
That's the-
open, without problem,
Right, exactly.
been open without problem. So anyway, we got a feeling that there was an opportunity to make this final pitch, and maybe we can get these roads. And so we presented this letter, had it read into our meetings at January 30th, presented it to John Scannell, Dan Clark. Since then, I've sent, and I told those 2 that I'd be including the commissioner. So I've sent it to the commissioner, Senator Durant, Representative Berthium, Representative Ferguson, and we've sent it to each of the Board of Selectmen for the 4 towns in the watershed. What we're hoping for is a letter of support to the commissioner, to these 2 district directors, that the Board of Selectmen is behind the public's repeated request to regain the access that's been taken away, in a nutshell. And we're hoping for it to go into, we're hoping to get it done so that this April, the end of mud season is traditionally around the beginning of April. So this April, maybe we're hoping that this will be the beginning of getting these 2 roads added.
Do I have a vote to consider that letter of support from the board?
A vote to, what do you mean, a vote to consider? Or to prepare a letter?
Prepare a letter.
Yep. I would move to prepare a letter in support of access to the roads listed.
As defined in this letter.
Yep, Reuben Walker and Prison Camp Road.
Then, you done?
Yep.
Second.
We have a motion made and seconded to provide a letter of support for the extension of roads as defined in your letter, that we will obviously have for review, as we have for review, and that we will send that to to Commissioner Scannell.
No, DCR Commissioner Arrigo, Arrigo.
Okay.
The Ware River District Directors, John Scannell and Dan Clark.
Scannell?
Scannell.
And
Dan Clark.
Dan Clark. And they are called Ware River,
Ware River District
okay.
Directors, the DCO.
We'll copy a letter to you.
And that'd be great.
Okay.
And if there's any, wording or description anybody would need assistance with, I'd be happy to
Okay, great.
help
Okay.
put the letter together,
Well, thank you so much for taking the time to be here tonight.
No, I appreciate it. I'm glad I came. Heard about the debt explosion too.
Good. You are our audience. Thank you.
There's plenty more to hear if you want to just stick around.
Yeah. About that specifically?
No,
No.
everything.
Oh.
So we have a motion made and seconded. We didn't vote yet, right?
No, we
Can we have a vote, please?
Aye.
I,
Okay, it's a vote. Again, thanks for coming.
Okay, thank you very much.
And we will be ready to provide all the information for debt exclusions.
What, at a selectmen's meeting?
Well, obviously, I would suspect we'll put some things on,
We need an opportunity for a comment
yeah,
before the,
yeah, there'll be more.
But there'll be no meeting,
My guess is that,
special town meeting before.
no, it wouldn't be at a special town meeting. I'm
Right.
guessing there would be conversations at the Budget and Finance Committees. Obviously, when they have the hearing for the Budget and Finance Committee, where, it's about a week or two before the actual election, they will, obviously walk through this, I'm sure. We certainly will have opportunities to answer questions if people are here for public input. Be happy to answer questions.
Yeah, maybe a joint meeting with the Finance Committee.
Yeah, so we'll
Could be a
definitely
good
make
option.
ourselves known. And, obviously, there's probably more people concerned and so forth about the dam, and so I know
I
that.
don't know about that.
Huh?
There's a lot of people concerned about every aspect, and I'm sure a lot of people are going to be concerned about the debt exclusion, so I want to make sure there's opportunity
Yeah.
for everyone to
And
discuss.
I know that there are people prepared to, invite people about different ways in which to manage the dam situation. Sounds awful, the dam situation that we have. Some of it repair, remove, take the river channel back. There seems to be a lot of state kind of interest in pushing you toward the, reestablishing the river channel. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. There's some people whose properties are located near there who feel very differently than the people who might live far away, not far away, but in other areas of the town that don't feel any, allegiance or, sort of camaraderie with the dam, if that's a possibility. So,
Well, between the two items, you probably get a good turnout on the election.
well, you know what, I hope you're right, but, it's, because it doesn't appear that there's a race for the select board. It doesn't appear that there's a race anywhere, so I think.
Sewer and water commissions both have races.
Yeah, so maybe that will draw some people out. I don't know, but we'll see. You know what it's like, look at what the turnout generally is like, even, at the presidential election, that's the only time you really see some excitement in people showing up at the polls.
That's the least exciting one to vote for.
Yeah. So at any rate,
Okay,
thank you so much.
all right, thank you all.
We'll see you.
Thanks, Mike.
Thanks for being a representative. I know that can't be fun every time you have to go
Well,
over.
it's actually become pretty fun.
Oh, good.
I mean, it's not always fun dealing with
Yeah,
the local DCR reps, but to try to do something and regain access and keep access. And, I mean, it's a great resource. That Watershed's a huge piece of property.
huge piece of property.
It's really,
Yeah,
Mhm.
it's great for a lot of people, a lot of different users,
Yep. yeah.
And so as part of the argument, these roads, even though they're gated,
Mhm.
you're allowed to walk beyond the
Right.
gates. Mountain bike beyond the gates and horseback ride beyond the gates.
And there's a lot of people who do all three.
Right. But there's a lot of people who are getting older in life and are less athletic, and we feel that part of our argument for these roads is to allow their access
I got you.
into this
Yeah.
interior
It's an
part.
accessibility issue.
Yeah,
Yeah,
It is.
so, people with disabilities, an aging population, we all deserve access too.
we do, Mike.
I remember when all that was just wide open.
Right.
Oh, yeah, just come and
And
go.
and everything was fine then too, as
Yeah.
well.
No, I agree, they allude to one situation where somebody got off the road in a Jeep and got stuck, and it took like a month to get the things, like, it's one incident in
50
like
years.
90
Yeah.
years.
Yeah,
And if they really didn't, they could have just gone in and towed the thing away and sent the kid the bill,
yeah,
but they allowed the kid to get it out.
yeah.
Anyway,
Anyway, thanks
all
again.
right, thank you.
Thank you, Mike.
Okay, it looks like we have some annual license renewals for some of our local restaurants. We do have a license renewal, it appears, for the Spotted Cow. And that is just a common victualer's license? Oh, yes, and the entertainment for the TV. Okay, I always forget that.
I know you love that.
Yeah, so we have a common victualer's license vote, and also, is this just the entertainment vote at this point?
No, it's both.
She's, okay.
Oh, wait a minute.
You just have Spotted Cow
Oh,
It just says annual license renewal.
yeah, I forgot to put,
entertainment as well, we can just add that.
Yeah, I forgot to add it as common vic and entertainment,
Okay,
because it was all over the place.
yeah. Okay, so we need we have an application for an annual renewal of a common victualer's license and an entertainment license for the restaurant Spotted Cow located on West Street.
And all that's together and good to go.
Yes,
Yep,
yes
okay.
it is. Yeah.
Then, yeah, I would move to approve the annual license renewal for the common victualer's license and entertainment license for the Spotted Cow.
Second.
We have a motion made and seconded to renew the common victualers and entertainment license for the Spotted Cow Restaurant located on West Street. Those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, we now have the common victualers license
And entertainment on that one
and
as well,
entertainment
sorry.
license for Saint Bola, Inc., DBA Magical Pizza, okay, which is located down on,
They bought Northeast Pizza.
oh, they purchased Northeast Pizza. Okay, so this is a common victualers annual license.
And
that
entertainment.
is in, for entertainment and common victualers, okay.
I move to approve the annual license renewal for the common victualer's license and entertainment license for St. Bola Incorporated, doing business as Magical Pizza, what we often call Northeast Pizza.
Second.
We have a motion made and seconded to approve the common victualers and entertainment license for St. Bola Incorporated's Magical Pizza. Those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. We have the request for the use of town property, and this is hard to believe when I'm sitting here and it's still February and we're going to be talking about next Christmas. But anyway,
Oh, don't forget.
There's a
I'm
few
not
of it.
going to
Oh,
forget.
okay.
Alicia Sherwood, who is a going away reception at the town hall on Saturday, February 22nd, so this is coming up soon,
Yeah.
from noon till 5 p.m., under the same restrictions and pickup that we usually require. Okay,
Yeah.
is there a fee for this?
Yes, there is.
Okay, so Alicia Sherwood, going away reception, town hall, on Saturday, February 22nd, and what is the fee?
It's 50. It's
$50, okay, at a $50 fee.
I move to approve the use of Town Hall for Alicia Sherwood on Saturday, February 22nd, from noon to 5 p.m.
Second.
We have a motion made and seconded for the going away reception at Town Hall on Saturday, February 22nd, and that person that has requested that is Alicia Sherwood. Those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Barre Historical Society, lecture and presentation and social, Town Hall, April 6th, 2 to 6 p.m. Seeking approval.
I move to approve the use of Town Hall by the Barre Historical Society on April 6th from 2 to 6 p.m. for a lecture, presentation, and social.
Second.
We have a motion made and seconded to approve the Barre Historical Society's request for approval to use the town hall for a lecture, presentation, and social on April 6th from 2 to 6 p.m. Those in favor?
Aye.
Any idea what the presentation is?
I don't know.
What's that?
We know
Any idea what the presentation is?
They have a
It's on the application. They put it on, didn't they?
They may have, let me see. Yes.
They're always really interesting. I'm just curious what
It
it
just
is.
says food and stuff,
Yeah.
doesn't say specifically.
I'll have to check their website.
Yeah, they have a good website.
They always have good presentations,
Yeah,
so.
Christmas and Barre Committee, Town Hall.
Right.
We look for, which one's it?
I wondered.
I move to approve the use of Town Hall and Common for Christmas in Barre on December 6th, 2025.
That could reserve the spot.
We have a motion made and
Second.
seconded to allow the use of the Town Hall for Christmas and Barre celebrations
In the comments.
in the
And
Common
For the
on
Festival of
Barre,
Trees.
December 6th, 2025. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Oh, there's a few other dates on here. I would include in that, right, Wednesday, December 3rd, and Thursday, December 4th for setup as well, for the Festival of Trees.
Was that
from 4
Wednesday,
to-
December 3rd?
Yep, and Thursday, December 4th for setup for the Festival of Trees from 4 to 8 p.m. And then Friday's December 5th for the Festival of Trees from 3 to 7 p.m. And Saturday, December 6th for the Festival of Trees and Center Common events from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m.
Okay, as included
Reading all
in,
these then? Oh, okay, I didn't know what he was reading.
yeah, as included in their application, Christmas and Barre Committee, Town Hall, to utilize the Town Hall for a series of events during the dates of December 3rd, December 4th, December 5th and 6th, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Those in favor?
Aye?
Aye.
Okay, we have, moving on in the agenda, personnel, which is the appointment of a building commissioner. And we did have some very, very good applicants for that position, and some individuals that we hope will end up working along with us as time goes on, but for current situation that we have. Do we have, Do we have information on her, from that commissioner?
Resume.
I don't have specific information in the packet, I don't think.
We can hold it till next time too if we need.
We can always hold it if we have to, yeah.
Yeah.
Where do I go for the planning board?
Third floor.
Third floor, thank you.
Yeah, we can hold till the next meeting if that's easier. But,
It works for me, is that okay?
Yeah, let's do that.
Okay.
Okay,
She got-
we'll hold that to the next meeting just to get some specifics and so we can get that into the,
So we're gonna,
yes, we're gonna hold that until we
Mhm.
have just a little more information available to the board. Fire chief, set interview date, or dates, I'm not sure which it's gonna be. But I would really recommend when we choose the date, we choose a snow date, just in case. So that if something were to go awry on day, the first time, we don't trying to hustle around and figure out what do we do next. Hopefully, I'm still being a little over the top on that, but at any rate, I know that we have some interview data that was provided by an assessment process that was utilized in the screening process. We need to set interviews, and I'm suspecting that we would need to set at least a 3-hour window, okay, at
Okay.
least.
At least.
Because there would obviously be a 45 to at least maybe hour interview, as well as opportunities for us to discuss potentials after that. And those would be open to the public. I mean, they would be, obviously, people can watch it on TV as well as, be here and present. So, I believe that someone from the assessment group will be here to work with us with questions and so on and so forth. So, we will be, providing, I think, it looks like we could have 3, maybe 4 applicants that we would be interviewing.
all right.
So are we
so
gonna
need
do
a
it,
date?
are we gonna do it in one night, or are we gonna do it in 2 nights?
I mean, my preference would be to do it in one night,
Okay.
but
Is that okay with you, Mark, or would you rather have 2 nights?
No, we'll do it one night.
You sure?
Get it done, yeah.
It's a long night.
It is a long night.
Okay, so if we're gonna do it on one night, then we need a date, and we need a snow date, okay?
Yep.
So, let's see, we're into the very last week in February already, so this looks like it's going to be something we're gonna do in March. Okay. Our meetings, our typical meetings are, let's see, on March. We have the 3rd and the 17th. I mean, we can choose to do it on one of those nights, if we would want to use that, but we probably have other business.
now that's a lengthy meeting.
Yeah, so we could do it on the 10th,
DPW meeting for you?
Oh, yes,
You have
DPW
DPW.
meeting, yeah, okay, we don't wanna do that.
12th?
So we have to
Do it on
go to another day of the week,
12th,
guys.
13th,
I'd prefer Wednesday over Thursday.
12th?
Yeah, 12th.
Either day generally is fine with me, with enough leave.
Is there a reason we're not
Okay.
doing it? We could do it the week before that too, the 5th, and then have the 12th as a snow date.
We could, yeah. So if you wanna say March 5, we will have a meeting on March 3rd.
Because that
which
doesn't
would be our
conflict
typical
with.
meeting, and then on March 5, which would be on Wednesday.
Mhm.
So we have a Monday meeting, we have the 5th, and then we'd have a snow date of the 6th, correct?
Sure.
Uh-huh.
I don't know about that. I think you
Oh,
should,
yeah.
the snow date you should make probably,
Or the 12th.
Skip
The
the week-
12th,
Yeah.
March
Yeah.
12th.
Snow date of the 12th.
Snow
So
date of the
Wednesday,
12th.
March
Snow date of the 12th.
what's that?
12th,
Yeah.
go to the next week.
Yeah, I
Okay.
agree.
5th with snow date, the 12th.
And that doesn't
Now,
conflict
the
with
thing
the
is-
Snow day, snow day.
CBDG meetings, right?
I don't
Yeah,
believe so,
one-
I
one
think.
thing
I know the
we-
first one's in February, the second one's
I
March.
think we have to make sure that, one, when you talk with the assessment group, that those dates work for them.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Okay?
Absolutely.
So we're thinking March 3rd, our typical meeting, March 5th, okay, hopefully the interviews, or if necessary, March 12th if there's a snow date issue.
And what time?
You have to start kind of
Yes.
early to get
Yeah.
them.
How many applicants, how many?
4, do you say?
Well, I
Three
said,
or
I don't
four?
know if we're having 3 or 4.
3.
3.
Three?
I believe
Three.
three.
I mean,
Start at 6.
yeah. Yeah, because
Minimum.
I also, aside from that, on the 3rd, I think we're going to need to finalize the election and sign off on that, the ballot, so I don't think we would want to combine those. I know we already kind of decided
Yeah.
against that, but,
Obviously, that's a lot for Sandy to do.
Yeah, so-
In one night.
yeah, so on the 3rd, I think, is when we're going to have to do that for that regular
The
meeting.
thing that I think might be important is, before you, you may want to look at the applicants and, decide which ones we're interviewing, right?
We
I
have
can ask-
recommendations from
Yeah.
the group that's been, they've gone through, they've done preliminary assessments, they've done,
Yep.
hands-on training or testing, I
All the
believe.
assessments, yes.
Yeah, a wide variety of assessments, and I know that's, that is common practice. I know, at least, for my dad, he said that they've done that for lieutenants even in Hubbardston, so.
Yeah.
But it's a process to make sure that, when there is an emergency situation, things are gonna be handled properly,
Right.
so. So we'll have we have recommendations from that group, so.
Are you
or
comfortable with that?
That company, I should say. Yeah.
Comfortable with that, not
Yeah.
looking at the data?
Yep.
Okay.
What did you decide on a time?
6.
6 o'clock?
Yeah, so 6 o'clock on the 5th.
Yeah,
Is-
is it easier to start at 5:30, because it's a long time.
It's gonna be 6,
If we start
7, 8,
as late
9.
as 6, we're 10:30.
8.
Oh,
Yeah,
If
you
we're talking,
definitely.
if we started earlier, can you be here earlier, 5:30?
Yeah, I can make 5 work for that day.
5?
5, I think 5,
Five
because we
would
need
be
just a
better.
little space between the candidates.
Each one, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Okay.
And I gotta see if Rick's available to video too.
yeah.
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 Okay, so if there's a change in anything, just let us know.
Yeah.
You know, if they can't do it. or
I'll touch
whatever.
base with them tomorrow.
And obviously, what if we have a candidate who can't make it for some reason? Too bad, so sad, or are we gonna make any, we should make a decision, are we gonna make any, I mean, obviously, if it's a death in the family or something like that, obviously, we should make adjustments for them. But if it's just, oh gee, I got something else that, I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean,
Well, I think it's important to make the decision now that we're not going to, or we're going to accommodate when necessary. Accommodate when necessary?
It's up to you guys.
I mean, I would accommodate when necessary. If these 3 people have gone through all that they've gone through to make the
Yeah, that's true.
application.
They've gone through a lot, so.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, I would accommodate to get, and hopeful that we would come out of this, process with a candidate. I know that we have candidates who, do you think it is appropriate, and would you think we should, for example, we've advertised the position at 101, I think, okay, $100,000 annual fee. If we have somebody who comes in who's already making $120,000 and feels that there is room to negotiate, should we or should we not make this, say to people before they come here, understand, the way the position was advertised is the amount of money that we assume will be the offer. To come in and think we can offer 130,000 or something like that, I don't know how realistic that is. I don't know.
I know to some extent the negotiation aspect of contracts generally, are supposed to be an executive session, so we're not hurting our leverage position as
Yeah.
negotiating. But I do think we can pretty safely say we're pretty firm that this is what we can do.
Well,
Yeah, absolutely. I think you
I
can
mean-
definitely go ahead and say, listen to the candidates, this is what we're at, this is what we advertised, we cannot go any higher than
I mean, that's what
101,000.
was advertised.
That's what was
But
advertised, and that's
most
not
of the-
uncommon.
Oftentimes, there's an opportunity to do something a little more. And do something a little more might be 103,000, but it's never going to be 130.
I mean, maybe in 2007, 2008, but
Yeah, yeah. Well, what I don't want to
Not
do
my adult
is,
life.
because you're limited it now to 3 candidates. 3 candidates, right? So those 3 candidates are going to come in here, okay, with a mindset. And I think it's only fair of us to talk with the people who are going to set up the interviews. Understand, this is a small town, they don't have a lot of leverage here, so if you want to withdraw, do it now. Don't have us go through all this happy stuff, and then they go, oh, well, if I can't get 120, I don't want the job, and we've let other people who maybe were a step down, we didn't interview,
Mhm.
because that's difficult. So I just want to make sure that we have the assessment group make those comments. When they call the people, say, they've chosen you to be interviewed, please understand, there's not a lot of maneuvering room in what the amount of money that was in the ad. It doesn't, you're not gonna go there and get 115,
Mhm.
even if you're sweet and nice and wonderful, because they just don't have it.
All
Okay,
right.
and so the people who are interfacing with them can let them know that.
When I call them tomorrow, I'll make sure I'll set the
Yeah.
date, and then I'll let them know that there's really
Yeah,
no room for negotiations.
and we're gonna start at 5. right?
5 o'clock. you
5
got it.
o'clock.
Yep.
Okay, and probably out of here by 10.
Give or take an hour.
Yeah, I mean, because obviously we're gonna give each candidate the same amount of time,
Mhm.
and then we have to decide whether we're going to sit and discuss these candidates after, or not. Whether we're gonna wait a day and have conversations, or how we're gonna handle that. We can talk with our attorney about that, because, you can do it, we can do it in open session for sure, but what we don't have is, we don't have access right now to references that were provided for these people, and we really need, I need to look at the references. And I think we need to make some phone calls, or feel like we could make some phone calls if we choose to, about who could I call to find out what you really do under pressure? And they could say the assessment, I'll say, no, who can I call? I'm not saying I'm gonna ask that, but that kind of thing,
Mhm.
because otherwise, we just interview them because they said, they did this in the assessment. And I would like to have a little more information
I'll
about.
ask them for the
I
resumes.
would just hope that MRI would, that's what everything's based on
Yes.
all the testing, all the things they go through, they must.
Well, no, I know,
As far as how they,
I'm not
how
saying,
they
I'm
would,
not-
like, under emergency, and how they would,
I think that's important, but what we would like to know too is, how do they interface with the public? I mean, are they the kind of people who, we're gonna say, oh God, because we're always running around saying, oh, he didn't mean that, she didn't mean that, I'm just wanna make sure that we have access to reasonably, valuable
Well,
resumes,
I mean, we're keeping the 12th as a snow date, but we could
yeah,
plan on that being, that's 1 week to collect any information
right,
you want to collect off of it, time to, speak with other individuals in town who watched it, who have input,
and it's,
particularly people who work on the fire department.
yeah.
Get some of that input, and then on the 12th, plan on making a decision unless we go
Yeah.
for the snow
Now-
date, in which case
Now,
we.
do you
have
think
another
it
one.
is
It's
okay?
1 week after, that's
Is it
maybe
our,
a
is it
stretch,
our
but-
obligation to say, previous to the interview session, there will be an opportunity? I hate to think we can hire somebody without them looking at where they're gonna work.
Mhm.
looking at what?
Looking at where they're actually gonna work. That's not a selling point for us. And I don't want people to say, you gotta be kidding.
Mhm.
I mean, I'm guessing some of them took a ride around, wouldn't you think?
I would assume so.
But I just wanna make sure, we don't make an offer.
Well, I think that's also a fair question to ask during the interview. Have
Yeah.
you,
Okay. So,
well, have you seen it? If they haven't,
and I
if
think
there's an
that, I think
opportunity.
that the group of the assessment will have some questions for us to.
Mhm.
Yeah, they
to
said
ask.
they'll actually do
They'll-
with you, do like a
they'll be
round
here, right?
robin, yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
And it's 45 to 50 minutes.
Yeah,
and
we'll say 45, and then we'll have a little time.
But they'll
in
guide us
between.
through it
Mhm.
in the process, and they'll know what questions.
And I think it's
Are good
important
and
for,
transparent.
potentially, whoever the rep comes from the company to do this, may want to say to the public, this is the process. It included a this, it included a that, included this, of all of the candidates who made applications, so that everybody knows it wasn't the three of us who aren't fire people who came up with this great idea and say, oh, this person really knows and was able to demonstrate that we have that data behind us. I just know that this is not going to be pretty no matter how we do it.
Oh, I don't see why it can't be.
Okay, my
It's not-
optimistic son,
It's not gonna be what?
pretty no matter how we do this, right?
We'll interview and we'll get the best candidate.
Yeah, I hope we do. I hope we do.
I'm not
Okay,
gonna say anything.
I have a couple wage authorizations here that have been put before us. A wage authorization for, do we have those dates? I don't know if did we vote on them, actually?
No,
Is
no,
there a
we
need,
don't vote on it.
is there a need to vote on them, or we just are, making that as our next meeting? When we say we're gonna meet on the 10th, we don't really have to
Yeah, I don't
vote
think
on
we need to vote on it, we
I
just need
wouldn't
to
say-
post it.
So I'll
Yeah.
have that in the minutes.
As long as
Yeah.
we
Mhm.
post it as, open meeting law.
Yeah, I'll have that.
Okay, so we're ready to do some wage authorizations. We have a wage authorization sent to us from the DPW department for a mechanic. His name is Ryan LaValle, and he will be starting with us at an hourly salary of $37.87. is proposed classification step 7.
All right. I move to approve the wage authorization for Ryan Lavelli as a master mechanic at step 7 for an hourly salary of $37.87 per hour.
Before I second that we spoke about earlier on this, Sandy,
Yes.
about the numbers.
It's all set.
Okay, all right.
Tim came in and we.
Yeah.
All right, I second that.
Yep, we straightened it out.
straightened it out, yeah.
Okay, so we have that a motion made and seconded to hire Mr. Ryan Lavallee at a rate of $37.87 with the benefits and so forth as defined by the DPW contract. Those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. We now have the DPW hire again. His name is Mr. David Craven at a salary of $37.57. He would be at step 7, I should say, step 7, and he is going to be in the water department, monitoring and managing the well system. He will have obviously access to all the same benefits and so forth as all the other DPW employees via their contract with the town of Barre.
I think we just need to, you said it's water, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It says wastewater on that wage authorization. I think that's just a typo, so we would just need to.
Chief Operator
Yeah.
Water.
Yep, so we would just, with that
What's
amendment.
on the,
Oh, it says wastewater, but it's not wastewater, it's
Yeah,
water.
it's just on this.
Yeah. So we just need to clean,
Okay.
we just need to amend
It
that.
should
just
say
cross
water,
out
not
the
waste
waste
office.
part.
The position is Chief Operator Water, not
Yeah.
wastewater. That would be the sewer system. That'd be a sewer guy. This isn't a sewer guy, this is a water guy.
So water going into houses, not coming back out. So, okay, yeah, so with that amendment, I would move to approve the wage authorization for David Craven as the chief operator for the water department, beginning at step 7 with an hourly salary of $37.57.
And his start date is 2/24/2025.
Second that.
We have a motion made and seconded to hire Mr. David Craven as a chief operator in the water department at $37.57. He will be starting his work with us on February 24th, 2025. And we have a vote.
Aye?
Aye.
Aye, that looks like a vote. 2 great new adds to the DPW department. We also have a wage authorization sheet for the Youth Services Library, going to step 2. Start date was July 1st, 2024. Their present hourly rate, $20.48, and the proposed hourly rate is $21.09, which would be effective March 13th.
Okay. Oh, and this is a
Kayla
increase from
Phillips.
step 2 to step 3.
Yeah.
Yep. So I would move to approve the wage authorization for Kayla Phillips as the youth services librarian from step 2 to step 3 at $21.09 per hour, effective March 13th.
We have
Second.
a motion made and seconded to approve the step increase for, let me see, Kyla Phillips from $20.48 an hour to $21.09 an hour. Those in favor?
Aye?
Aye.
Take a vote. Sandy, the only thing I would ask you to check on that wastewater number is to go into that contract and make sure wastewater and water, the chief operator, make sure that that hourly rate is correct. I'm sure it is.
It is,
You
it
did.
is.
Okay, check
Yeah.
the water.
Yeah, we
Make sure
checked it
the
over and
water-
over, yep.
Perfect.
We checked
Yeah.
both,
Sounds
yeah.
good, okay.
Yeah, we should.
It was checked for water, not
Yeah.
wastewater.
I think I have it memorized, honestly.
I know.
Okay, moving along, we have Ryan Lavallee and David Craven on the agenda, but that's already been taken care of. We have any old business of import that we need to address? Okay, please make sure your calendars include the dates that we put in March. We're already looking at a very busy March. And I think, in order for clarification, because I think we left people, at least in my mind, thinking that we were going to put together a voters sort of information sheet about the dams. And I think we have to change our strategy there, so we just have to make sure to take care of that.
Yes, so we can't do that, but what we can do is we can give
Time.
both sides an opportunity to come and discuss it
Yeah.
at a select board meeting. So I think that would be a
Yeah.
great opportunity to allow
Yeah.
people to come and present and speak on it.
And I know that some people have been working with groups that are expert in, okay, having repaired a dam, having, managed a dam a different way, having let the dam be discontinued. Do we have information that we could make available to people? What will it cost us to to own the land? I mean, what do we have to do? We have to go through a deed search and with an attorney and figure out how, and we would take ownership of this property in order to destroy or to fix the dam in some way, right?
So the number that we had from
Last year.
that we had looked at was it 15?
Up to 15,000.
Up to $15,000 to do the search, the legal costs, and to receive the land if it's donated. So that's all of
Who
that.
gets to donate it if we don't know who owns it?
Well, that's the other, not that part, not the part where the dam actually is. That part would be taken through title, through,
Eminent domain?
well, no, no taxes have been paid on it, so the town can take the
Take
dam
it for
itself.
taxes, okay.
But the portions to have the permanent access to it through town-owned land or town permanent right-of-way access, that's where that 15,000 would come into play. And then it would be, that, on top of that, it would be whatever cost it would be to purchase land or right of access. But this sum of money would determine how much it would cost. And potentially, it would be nothing above that if someone were to donate
Yes.
access.
And under old business, we can do one more item. I know that the
So,
commission,
you just had a small discussion on the dam, right?
yeah, and well, I'm still
Under
unclear.
old
For
business.
example, if we were to let the river return to its, natural course,
Mhm.
do we have to do anything with the land, that the natural course, because I guess it's running down that place now, and if we remove the dam, there would probably be a greater flow down in this area, right?
No.
Not necessarily.
The amount in and the amount out is still the same.
Okay, eventually.
Well, yeah, the construction services that the state takes care of would be responsible for managing, removing the water.
Okay, and also, there's a permitting
If it were
process.
to no longer
There's
be
a permitting
impounded.
process that goes on if we were to allow the dam to, or if the dam were removed. There's a permitting process it's pretty extensive, that would happen before they would
Yeah.
remove the dam. And that would be the state doing it. And if in the permitting process they found that there was some issue of whatever concern, they could say, oh no, we're not doing that, or this is a problem, and we're not going to do it this way, we're going to do that way. So, I mean, this is not as straightforward as I wish it were, because I think there's a lot of, things that we could run into that would be problematic.
Yeah.
And for sure, there are people who want to do one thing, people who want to do another thing, and we're not going to win on this one.
And that's part of why this is non-binding. If the vote were to be, say, remove the impounded water, and then the state did the research and permitting for that and realized, no, that's going to dramatically impact X, Y, and Z,
Yep.
then that would have to change. Conversely, if the vote is to retain the impounded water, but then at town meeting, the vote to secure the funds to get any land necessary is rejected, then that may not work that way either and would have to change. So this doesn't appropriate any money for that.
No.
That would still have to be done at town meeting, and not having, any appropriate money could,
Yeah.
overrule what the non-binding vote said.
Okay, so,
So,
that being said.
a lot of variables.
We do have one piece of old business, and that would be just some action that the DPW Commission took at its most recent meeting on February 13th, sorry. On February 13th, the commission voted to accept the resignation of Shannon O'Connor, the administrative assistant at the DPW department. She is resigning her position, and we are finding, at the direction, obviously, of the commission, working on all payouts that are owed to her that would be paid. I know that we've processed the payroll today that meets that requirement, at least so far. So we probably should just vote to accept at the level of the select board the resignation of Shannon O'Connor and thank her for her service to the communities for the last 12 years. We have a motion?
I'd move to accept the resignation of Shannon O'Connor from the position of DPW Administrative Assistant.
A second?
We have a motion made and seconded to accept the resignation of Shannon O'Connor acted from the DPW's position of administrative assistant. Those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I'll abstain.
Okay, got that.
What'd you say?
Abstain.
You're abstaining.
Mhm.
Okay, so moving,
Oh, that's right.
okay, moving on, I think we're seeking, or I would be ready to accept, shall we say, a motion to adjourn?
I move to adjourn.
Second?
We move, a motion made and seconded to adjourn. Those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
I guess we're adjourned, and Magical Pizza is getting its license signed.
Yes.
Is the name changing?
Yes.
Like, on the building and everything? Oh, that's, my kids are gonna love that.